The communication array crackled with static as Queen Elena Vasquez received the encrypted transmission. Her fingers tightened around the datapad, ice settling in her chest as she read the coordinates. The Crimson Nebula, pirate territory where civilized ships disappeared without trace. Your Majesty. Captain Torres stood at attention beside her throne, his weathered face grave. The transmission originated from the Shadow Claw, Nexari pirates. Elena's jaw clenched. She knew that ship. Captain Vex commanded a crew of cutthroats who specialized in capturing high-value targets for ransom. But this wasn't about money. "They have Lyrian?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "Yes, ma'am. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen's fiancé was taken during a civilian transport raid 3 days ago. The pirates are aware of the relationship." Elena rose from her throne, her ceremonial robes flowing like liquid starlight. The royal court fell silent, sensing the shift in their queen's demeanor. When Elena Vasquez moved with purpose, galaxies trembled. "Show me the message." Torres activated the holoprojector. A scaled reptilian face materialized. Captain Vex, his yellow eyes gleaming with malicious intelligence. Scars crisscrossed his snout, testament to countless battles. "Human queen," Vex hissed, his translator rendering the words with mechanical precision. "We have something precious. A Zilani diplomat promised to one of your war heroes. Such a delicate creature, so fragile." The image shifted, revealing a holding cell. Inside, a tall, elegant being sat with perfect posture despite the chains. Lyrian's silver skin seemed to glow even in the dim light, her large violet eyes showing no fear, only defiant dignity. Her people were known for their grace and intelligence, but also their vulnerability to stress toxins that most species could survive. "The price is simple," Vex continued. 10,000 refined quantum cores delivered to Sector 77 Alpha. You have 72 hours, or the pretty alien becomes space dust. The transmission ended. Elena stared at the empty air where Lyrian's image had been, calculating rapidly. 10,000 quantum cores represented a fortune, enough to build a fleet or power a small star system. But that wasn't what made her hesitate. "Ma'am," Torres said quietly, "Lieutenant Commander Chen is requesting immediate leave to..." "Denied." Elena's voice cut through the air like a blade. "Where is she now?" "Hangar Bay 7, attempting to commandeer a fighter ship. Security is struggling to contain her." Elena almost smiled. Sarah Chen was one of humanity's finest soldiers, a veteran of the Proxima Wars who'd earned the Stellar Cross for valor. The woman had single-handedly held a space station against hegemony forces for 18 days. 3 security guards wouldn't stop her from reaching her fiancé. "Stand down, all security. Let her go," Torres blinked. "Ma'am, you heard me. In fact, give her the fastest ship in our fleet." Elena turned toward the massive viewport overlooking Earth. The blue marble turned slowly below, home to 12 billion souls who looked to her for protection and leadership. "And Captain, prep the Dreadnought Sovereign. Full battle configuration. Your Majesty, with respect. We cannot risk a diplomatic incident with the Nexari Confederacy over one hostage." The peace treaty, Elena said softly, was signed between civilized nations. Pirates have no flag, no protection. She faced him, and Torres stepped back from the cold fire in her eyes. Besides, Captain Vex made one critical error. "Ma'am." He threatened family. Elena strode from the throne room, her mind already shifting through tactical possibilities. The Nexari pirates controlled 17 star systems through fear and ruthless efficiency. Their technology was crude but effective, their ships fast and deadly, but they'd never faced a human fleet commanded by righteous fury. As she entered the royal quarters, Elena shed her ceremonial robes and pulled on her military uniform, the same design she'd worn as Admiral Vasquez, before politics called her to a different kind of service. The familiar weight of rank insignia and combat medals felt like armor. Her personal communicator chimed. Admiral Martinez, her chief of staff, appeared in miniature hologram. "Elena, you can't be serious about this. One rescue mission could destabilize the entire sector." "Miguel," she said, checking the charge on her sidearm. How many humans do you think are watching the news feeds right now? How many know that Lieutenant Commander Chen earned her rank bleeding for Earth's freedom? Thousands, but millions, Miguel. And they know Sarah Chen is about to lose the woman she loves because politicians care more about treaties than people. Elena holstered her weapon. They need to see their queen cares more about her citizens than paperwork. The Nexari have 40 ships in that sector. Then we bring 50. Elena sealed her jacket. And Miguel? Send a message to every human colony, military base, and civilian settlement. Tell them what happened. Tell them what we're doing about it. As Elena walked toward the hangar, she knew this wasn't just about rescue anymore. In a universe where humans were still proving their worth among older alien civilizations, sometimes you had to remind everyone what humanity meant. Sometimes you had to show them that humans protected their own. The Dreadnought Sovereign powered up its engines as Elena's shuttle approached, followed by 23 additional warships. In the distance, a lone fighter ship streaked toward the hyperspace jump point, Sarah Chen, racing toward either death or glory. Elena smiled grimly. Today, the galaxy would learn why humans had earned their place among the stars. The Sovereign's bridge hummed with controlled energy as Elena took command. Officers moved with practiced precision, their movements sharp and efficient. Admiral Martinez had argued against her personal involvement, but Elena knew better. This mission required the absolute authority only a queen could provide. Status report, Elena commanded, settling into the captain's chair. All ships ready, Your Majesty. Commander Hayes, the fleet's tactical officer, gestured to the holographic display. 24 vessels, including 3 dreadnoughts and 8 heavy cruisers. We have overwhelming firepower. Elena studied the star chart. The Crimson Nebula stretched across 3 light years, its red gases providing perfect cover for pirate bases. Intelligence suggested at least 12 hidden installations, but finding Vex's specific location would be challenging. Long-range sensors detect Lieutenant Commander Chen's fighter entering nebula space, reported Lieutenant Walsh from communications. She's maintaining radio silence as ordered. Elena nodded. Sarah's ship carried experimental stealth modifications, making her nearly invisible to most scanning systems. She would serve as their pathfinder, locating the Shadow Claw while the fleet waited for the signal. Your Majesty, Hayes said quietly, what if this is a trap? Pirates don't usually target single aliens unless there's a larger scheme. There is a larger scheme, Elena replied. Captain Vex wants to test human resolve. He wants to know if we'll abandon our allies when things become inconvenient. She stood, moving to the tactical display. He's about to get his answer. The nebula loomed ahead, a crimson wall of swirling gas and electromagnetic interference. Pirates had used this region for decades, exploiting its natural sensor dampening to evade law enforcement. Today, that same concealment would work against them. Ma'am, Walsh called out. Incoming transmission from the Zilani High Council. Elena grimaced. Lyrian's people were pacifists by nature, preferring negotiation to military action. They wouldn't understand the necessity of force. On screen, the elegant features of Counselor Theron materialized, her silver skin bearing the subtle markings of high diplomatic rank. The Zilani were impossibly beautiful, evolved for harmony and intellectual pursuit rather than conflict. Queen Vasquez, Theron said, her voice melodic despite the translator's mechanical rendering. We are concerned by reports of military mobilization. Surely diplomatic channels... Counselor, Elena interrupted gently. With the greatest respect, your people have never faced true predators. Pirates don't negotiate. They take what they want through violence. She stepped closer to the display. Lyrian is about to become my daughter-in-law. That makes her family, and humans protect family. Thurin's large eyes showed confusion. Daughter-in-law? But Zilani bonding customs have adapted to include human traditions, Elena said firmly. Sarah Chen and Lyrian exchanged commitment vows according to both cultures. In human law, that makes them engaged. She paused. It also makes harming Lyrian an act of aggression against the royal house of Vasquez. The counselor's expression shifted to something approaching understanding. The Zilani valued family bonds above all else, even if their expressions differed from human customs. We did not realize the formal commitment had been completed. Our records showed only preliminary courtship protocols. Because your people never bothered asking Sarah directly, Elena said. You've been negotiating with military command instead of talking to the woman who walked through plasma fire to keep Lyrian safe during the embassy bombing. That silenced Thyron completely. The incident had occurred 6 months ago, when hegemony extremists targeted the Zelani diplomatic quarter. Sarah Chen had been off-duty visiting Lyrian for dinner when the explosions started. Security footage showed the human soldier carrying Lyrian through collapsing corridors, shielding her from falling debris with her own body. Counselor, Elena continued, if you want Lyrian back safely, let humans handle this our way. Your diplomacy is admirable, but sometimes violence is the only language predators understand. We will defer to your expertise, Your Majesty. The transmission ended. Elena turned back to the tactical display, satisfaction warming her chest. Political complications solved, at least temporarily. Contact from Lieutenant Commander Chen, Walsh announced. Code burst transmission only. Elena moved to the communication station. Sarah's message appeared as coordinates and tactical data. The Shadow Claw was anchored near a massive asteroid, using its bulk to mask sensor signatures. Surrounding ships suggested a major pirate gathering, either a meeting or preparation for a large-scale raid. 43 vessels. Hayes whistled low. Intelligence underestimated their numbers? Doesn't matter, Elena said. Signal the fleet. We go in fast and hard. Primary target is the Shadow Claw. Everything else is secondary. Ma'am, rules of engagement? Elena considered carefully. Pirates operated outside galactic law, but her actions would be scrutinized by every major civilization. Too much violence would make humans appear barbaric. Too little might embolden other criminal organizations. Disable enemy vessels when possible. Destroy any ship that fires on us directly. And Hayes? Elena's voice turned deadly quiet. If anyone harms Lyrian, scuttle every pirate ship in this system. Understood, Your Majesty. The fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving Earth's solar system behind. Elena stared at the swirling tunnel of light surrounding them, thinking of Sarah Chen racing through space toward impossible odds. The young soldier had already lost one family to war. Elena would be damned before she let her lose another. In 12 hours, the galaxy would learn what happened when pirates threatened human family. Elena just hoped they all survived the lesson. The Sovereign dropped from hyperspace at the nebula's edge, followed by 23 additional warships. Red gases swirled around them like blood and water, creating an ethereal battlefield that would soon echo with weapons fire. All ships report ready status, Commander Hayes announced. Lieutenant Commander Chen's beacon is holding steady near target coordinates. Elena studied the tactical display, watching enemy positions update in real time. The Shadow Claw dominated the asteroid field's center, its bulk modified with additional weapons and armor plating. Smaller pirate vessels formed a protective perimeter, their crews likely unaware of the approaching storm. Signal all vessels, Elena commanded. Attack formation Alpha 7. We punched through their screening force and hit the flagship directly. The human fleet arranged itself into a spearhead formation, heavy dreadnoughts leading with cruisers flanking for support. Elena had used similar tactics during the Proxima Wars, where decisive action prevented prolonged casualties. Your Majesty, Walsh called from communications, we're receiving a transmission from Captain Vex. Put him through. The reptilian pirate's scarred face appeared on the main screen, yellow eyes gleaming with malicious amusement. Behind him, Elena could see Lyrian secured in what appeared to be a reinforced cell, still maintaining her dignified posture despite the circumstances. Human Queen, Vex hissed. You arrive with impressive force, but too late. My price is increased. Name it, Elena said coldly. The woman who comes for this alien, Sarah Chen. Yes, she flies alone into my fleet like a meteor seeking death. Vex's laugh resembled grinding metal. Surrender her to me, and I return the Zelani. Refuse, and you lose both. Elena felt ice form in her chest. Sarah's fighter was fast and stealthy, but 43 pirate ships could overwhelm even the most skilled pilot through sheer numbers. "Counter offer," Elena said, stepping closer to the screen. "Release both hostages immediately, and I'll let your crews evacuate before I turn this asteroid field into a debris cloud." Vex's eyes narrowed. "You threaten me? In my own territory? I'm educating you about reality." Elena's voice carried absolute authority. "You kidnapped a Zalani diplomat, engaged to a human war hero. You threatened my family. That makes this personal." "Personal?" Vex seemed genuinely confused by the concept. Elena realized the cultural gap. Pirates operated through fear and profit, not emotional bonds. They couldn't comprehend the fury of someone fighting to protect loved ones. "Let me explain," Elena said, gesturing to Hayes. The tactical display shifted, showing the human fleet's true formation. 24 ships commanded by officers who fought alongside Sarah Chen. Every captain knows her service record. Every crew member respects her sacrifice. Vex's confidence wavered as he processed the numbers. "You see," Elena continued, "this isn't politics or territory. This is about a soldier who bled for her species, who deserves happiness after giving everything for strangers' freedom." Her voice hardened. "And I will burn this entire system before I let scum like you steal that from her." The transmission cut as weapons fire erupted across the asteroid field. Sarah's fighter had engaged the outer perimeter, her enhanced weaponry punching through pirate shields like tissue paper. She moved with deadly precision, targeting engines and weapon systems to disable rather than destroy. "She's good," Hayes muttered admiringly. "She's the best," Elena replied. "All ships advance. Time to even the odds." The human fleet surged forward, their formation perfect despite the treacherous terrain. Pirate vessels scrambled to respond, but they'd been caught completely off guard. Most traffickers avoided military confrontations, preferring defenseless civilian targets. Elena watched as her dreadnoughts engaged the enemy screening force. Human gunnery was precise and devastating, each shot calculated for maximum tactical effect. Pirates relied on overwhelming firepower and intimidation. They weren't prepared for professional military discipline. "Direct hit on enemy cruiser Bloodfang," reported the weapons officer. "Engine room destroyed. She's dead in space." 3 pirates' vessels attempting to escape Vector 7 Mark IV, Hayes added. "Pursuing cruisers Manchester and Sewell request permission to engage. Granted, no one leaves until we recover our people." The battle intensified as pirate desperation grew. They fought with the fury of cornered animals, but human tactics and superior training gradually claimed the advantage. Elena felt grim satisfaction watching her fleet dismantle Vex's forces with surgical precision. "Ma'am." Walsh's voice carried urgency. "Emergency transmission from Lieutenant Commander Chen. She's found the Shadow Claw's weak point, but she needs covering fire to reach it." Elena studied Sarah's position on the tactical display. The young soldier had identified a vulnerability in the flagship's armor plating, but reaching it required flying through a gauntlet of defensive turrets. Signal cruisers Athens and Berlin provide covering fire for Chen's attack run. All other vessels maintain current engagement. Elena watched Sarah's fighter dart between asteroid fragments, using the rocky debris for cover as enemy fire blazed around her. The woman flew like her life depended on it, which it did. But more importantly, she flew like Lyrian's life depended on it. That was the difference between pirates and humans, Elena realized. Pirates fought for profit or fear. Humans fought for love, and love made them unstoppable. The Shadow Claw shuddered under Sarah's assault as her fighter's enhanced weapons tore through weakened armor plating. Secondary explosions rippled across the flagship's hull, and Elena knew the battle was nearly over. 8 minutes later, Captain Vex's voice crackled through communications, no longer arrogant or threatening. We surrender. Cease fire. We surrender." Elena smiled coldly. "Patch me through to all ships, pirate and human alike." When the channel opened, her voice carried across the entire battlefield with absolute authority. Sarah's fighter limped toward the Sovereign's hangar bay, its hull scarred from enemy fire but intact. Elena waited personally at the airlock, flanked by honor guards and Admiral Martinez. When the young soldier emerged, still wearing her flight suit and carrying her helmet, Elena saw exhaustion and relief warring in her features. "Lyrian?" Elena asked immediately. "Safe," Sarah replied, her voice hoarse from adrenaline and stress. "Shaken but unharmed. The pirates? They didn't know how to care for Zilani physiology. She needs medical attention but nothing serious." Elena nodded to the medical team waiting nearby. They moved forward with specialized equipment designed for alien biology. The Royal Medical Staff had prepared extensively after learning about Sarah's engagement. "Your Majesty," Sarah continued, uncertainty creeping into her voice, "I need to explain my actions. I disobeyed direct orders, stole military property." "You defended family," Elena interrupted firmly. "In human culture, that's not only acceptable, it's mandatory." She gestured toward the viewport where rescue shuttles transferred prisoners from disabled pirate vessels. "Tell me about Captain Vex's operation." Sarah's expression hardened. "Larger than we thought. He wasn't just grabbing random targets for ransom. This was intelligence gathering, testing response times, analyzing tactical doctrine, measuring political will." Elena felt cold realization settle in her chest. Someone hired him. Yes, ma'am. The pirates kept detailed records of their raids, noting which governments responded aggressively and which tried negotiation first. They were building a database. For whom? Unknown. Vex claims he dealt through intermediaries, never knew his employer's identity, but the payment schedule suggests a major power, possibly the hegemony remnants or one of the Outer Rim cartels. Elena processed this information quickly. The implications were staggering. Someone was testing various species' resolve, probably preparing for a larger conflict. Today's rescue mission had prevented more than just one kidnapping. It had disrupted a military intelligence operation. Excellent work, Lieutenant Commander. Your quick thinking may have saved thousands of lives. Sarah straightened to attention despite her exhaustion. "Thank you, Your Majesty." Permission to request? Granted, Elena said before the question finished. 3 weeks personal leave, effective immediately. "I believe you have a wedding to plan." For the first time since Elena had known her, Sarah Chen smiled with pure, unguarded joy. The medical bay's doors opened, and Lyrian emerged supported by 2 nurses. The Zilani diplomat moved gracefully despite her ordeal, her silver skin showing only faint stress discoloration around her eyes. When she saw Sarah, her composure finally cracked. Elena watched as the 2 women embraced with desperate relief. Lyrian was tall even for her species, nearly matching Sarah's height, but she seemed fragile next to the human soldier's compact strength. Yet there was nothing fragile about the way she gripped Sarah's shoulders, or the fierce protection in her violet eyes. "My love," Lyrian whispered, her voice carrying musical undertones that the translator couldn't quite capture. "I knew you would come. I never doubted." "Always," Sarah replied simply. "Always, no matter what." Elena felt a warmth in her chest that had nothing to do with politics or military victory. This was what humans fought for, not territory or resources, but the right to love without fear. "Your Majesty," Admiral Martinez approached discreetly. "We have a situation developing. News of the rescue mission has reached Earth, and the response is significant." Elena raised an eyebrow. "Define significant." "Every major news network is calling it the greatest military love story since the Proxima Wars. Lieutenant Commander Chen is being hailed as a romantic hero, and you're being praised for supporting true love over political convenience." Martinez paused. "There are also 12 formal requests for similar rescue missions from other planetary governments." Elena suppressed a laugh. "And the diplomatic response? Mixed. The Zilani High Council is formally apologizing for their earlier skepticism about human-Zilani relationships. 3 other species have inquired about establishing similar cultural exchange programs, but the Nexeri Confederacy is demanding compensation for the destroyed pirate vessels. "Tell the Nexari that pirates operate outside legal protection," Elena said firmly. "We'll gladly compensate them for any legitimate vessels we damaged. All 0 of them." She turned back to Sarah and Lyrian, who were still holding each other like lifelines. The contrast between them should have seemed impossible. Human and alien, soldier and diplomat, earth-born and star-shaped. Instead, they looked inevitable. "Lieutenant Commander," Elena called softly. Sarah looked up, her arm still wrapped protectively around Lyrian's waist. "The Royal Chapel is available whenever you're ready," Elena said. "I believe Admiral Martinez mentioned something about officiating ceremonies being among my royal privileges." Lyrian's eyes widened, violet irises brightening with surprise and hope. "Your Majesty would? You would perform our bonding ceremony?" "It would be my honor," Elena replied solemnly, "assuming you can tolerate human customs mixed with Zolani traditions." "We've been planning exactly that," Sarah said, her voice thick with emotion. "A blend of both cultures, representing something new." That was what the future looked like. Different species learning from each other, creating something stronger than either could achieve alone. Pirates and separatists feared that future because it meant their narrow worldview couldn't survive. "Your Majesty," Commander Hayes interrupted, "final battle assessment is complete. Enemy forces completely neutralized, minimal casualties on our side. Captain Vex and his senior officers are secured in detention." "And the intelligence data they collected?" "Secured and being analyzed." Initial review suggests the scope of the spying operation was even larger than Lieutenant Commander Chen estimated. Elena felt satisfaction and concern in equal measure. They'd won today's battle and saved 2 lives, but the war was far from over. Someone was planning something large enough to require detailed intelligence on multiple species' military responses. But that was tomorrow's problem. Today was about celebrating love's victory over hate, connection over separation, hope over fear. "Admiral Martinez," Elena said, "signal the fleet. Course for Earth, best possible speed. I want to get our heroes home." As the Sovereign prepared for the jump to hyperspace, Elena took one last look at the battlefield. Disabled pirate ships drifted among the asteroids, their crews awaiting trial for their crimes. Justice had been served, but more importantly, a message had been sent to anyone watching. Humans protected their own. Human love was stronger than alien fear, and anyone who threatened human family would face the full might of human fury. The stars awaited, bright with possibility. The Royal Chapel gleamed with crystalline beauty as representatives from dozens of worlds gathered for the ceremony. Elena had insisted on making Sarah and Lyrian's wedding a truly galactic affair, understanding the symbolic importance of such a union during times of interspecies tension. Zolani musicians played harmonies that seemed to resonate directly in the soul, while human military honor guards stood at attention in their dress uniforms. Admiral Martinez had outdone herself organizing the event, transforming the usually austere chapel into something magical that honored both cultures. Elena stood before the altar in her ceremonial robes, feeling the weight of history as she prepared to perform the first formal human-Zolani bonding ceremony. The legal precedent alone would impact diplomatic relations for generations. Sarah entered from the left, wearing her military dress uniform decorated with every medal she'd earned protecting Earth and her allies. The stellar cross caught the light as she moved, reminding everyone present of her sacrifices. Behind her walked Admiral Chen, Sarah's adoptive father, his pride evident despite his usual stoic demeanor. From the right, Lyrian approached in traditional Zolani ceremony attire, flowing robes that seemed to shift color with her movements, silver threading catching the chapel's lights like captured starlight. Counselor Theron accompanied her, representing the Zolani High Council's formal approval of the union. Elena had spent weeks studying both cultures' bonding customs, working with scholars and diplomats to create a ceremony that honored each tradition without diluting either. The result was something entirely new, a template for future interspecies unions. "We gather today," Elena began, her voice carrying to every corner of the chapel, "to witness the joining of 2 hearts, 2 souls, 2 species united in love that transcends the boundaries of biology and culture." Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen, veteran of the Proxima Wars, defender of freedom, protector of the innocent, you have proven your courage in battle and your devotion in love. Do you come before us freely, ready to bind yourself to Lyrian of the Zolani, to share your life's journey regardless of the challenges that may arise? "I do," Sarah replied, her voice strong and clear. I pledge my love, my protection, and my future to Lyrian across all the stars and through all the years we're granted. Elena turned to Lyrian. Honored Lyrian, daughter of Zelen Prime, diplomat and bridge builder between worlds. You have shown wisdom beyond your years and courage in the face of danger. Do you come before us freely, ready to bind yourself to Sarah Chen, to share your life's journey regardless of the challenges that may arise? I do, Lyrian said, her translator struggling to convey the musical quality of her native language. I pledge my love, my wisdom, and my future to Sarah, across all the stars and through all the years we're granted. The exchange of vows followed, each word carefully crafted to honor both human directness and Zelani poetry. Sarah spoke of strength and protection, of finding home in another person's eyes. Lyrian spoke of harmony and growth, of two melodies creating something greater than either could achieve alone. Elena found herself moved despite her years of officiating ceremonies. There was something profound about watching these two very different beings choose each other, creating a bond that defied every political and biological barrier their species had constructed. When the time came for rings, Sarah produced a band crafted from Earth titanium and Zelani crystal, the human metal providing strength while alien minerals added beauty. Lyrian's matching band reversed the design, Zelani crystal surrounding human metal, symbolizing how their union blended both worlds. By the authority vested in me as Queen of United Earth and representative of humanity among the stars, Elena declared, and with the blessing of the Zelani High Council, I now pronounce you married according to the laws and customs of both species. What has been joined here cannot be separated by distance, politics, or fear. The kiss that sealed their union was gentle but passionate, human urgency tempered by Zeleni grace. Around them, the assembled guests erupted in applause that mixed human cheering with Zeleni harmonic celebration. Elena stepped back, watching as the newlyweds turned to face their friends and family. Sarah's fellow soldiers stood to attention in salute, while Zelani diplomats raised their arms in traditional blessing gestures. For a moment, the chapel held perfect harmony between species that had spent decades learning to trust each other. Your Majesty, Admiral Martinez whispered, approaching discreetly. Priority transmission from Earth Defense Command. Elena nodded, following Martinez to a private communication alcove while the celebration continued. The holographic display showed General Morrison, his weathered features tense with urgency. Your Majesty, Morrison began without preamble. Intelligence analysis of the pirate data has revealed something significant. The spying operation wasn't random. Someone was specifically testing responses to hostage situations involving interspecies relationships. Explain. Every kidnapping targeted aliens engaged to or married to humans. The pirates were measuring how quickly and aggressively human forces would respond when non-human loved ones were threatened. Morrison's expression darkened. This was a test run for something much larger. Elena felt ice form in her chest. Recommendations? Immediate security upgrades for all mixed-species couples in government or military positions. Enhanced protection for diplomatic missions involving interspecies relations. And ma'am, Morrison paused, we need to assume someone is planning to weaponize our protective instincts. Elena processed this rapidly. Human willingness to fight for alien allies and partners was well known throughout the galaxy. If someone wanted to manipulate human military responses, threatening non-human family members would be devastatingly effective. General, implement all recommended security measures immediately and send a classified briefing to all allied governments. They need to know about this threat. Already in progress, Your Majesty. Elena returned to the celebration, her mind racing despite the joyous atmosphere. Today's victory felt complete, but tomorrow would bring new challenges. Someone was studying human weaknesses, learning how to exploit their greatest strength, their capacity for love. Sarah noticed Elena's changed demeanor immediately. Your Majesty, is everything all right? Everything is perfect, Elena replied, forcing her concerns aside. Today is about celebrating your future together. Tomorrow we deal with whatever threatens it. Lyrian studied Elena with those perceptive violet eyes. You've received troubling news. Elena considered deflecting, then decided these two deserved honesty. They'd already proven they could handle dangerous truths. The pirate operation was more sophisticated than we initially believed. Someone was using your kidnapping to test human responses to threats against interspecies couples. Sarah's expression hardened instantly. They were using us as lab rats.
Yes.
But they learned something important. Human love is a strength, not a weakness. We'll protect what matters to us, regardless of the cost. Lyrian moved closer to Sarah, intertwining their fingers. Then they've given us valuable intelligence as well. We know someone fears what our union represents. Elena smiled, remembering why she'd chosen to officiate this ceremony personally. These two understood that their love wasn't just personal. It was political, symbolic, revolutionary. Indeed, and that fear will be their downfall. The celebration continued around them, but Elena knew the galaxy had shifted subtly today, not just because of the rescue mission or the wedding, but because two species had proven that love could bridge any gap. Whatever enemy was plotting against them had made a critical error. They'd assumed human protective instincts were a weakness to exploit. Instead, they'd just demonstrated that human love was the strongest force in the universe, and Elena intended to wield that force with devastating precision.